Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Bros podcast. I'm your host, Logan Thomas, and with me, as always, is my most excellent co host.
Caden Green.
And together we are the
The
Real
Real
Bros. Caden, we're doing it. We're finishing up another franchise today.
Yeah.
It's not over. There's still much more projects in this franchise to come, but up till now, in the mainline series, there are no more Ghostbusters films.
Yeah.
Kane, would you say this is a high note for the franchise or a low note for the franchise?
I wouldn't say it's high, but it's definitely not the highest note it could have ended on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not horrible, not by a long shot.
No, because as we were just watching it, we both thought there were some creative choices that could have,
Been avoided,
yeah.
which to each their own, it adds more story to the actual universe the franchise takes place in. But
Go ahead. Sorry.
sorry. Some things just don't line up at points. Other things don't really make sense.
I definitely feel like they should have made a certain storyline not as up for interpretation
Yeah.
as it should have been. But we'll get into that when we get into the spoiler review. Today we have another Real Bros ranking today,
Yeah.
and me and Caden have gone over, and we actually have the same ranking for a franchise for once.
Surprisingly, yeah.
So we'll probably work that a little bit differently. We'll probably just go over the ranking, and we'll just each give our reasons for each place and save ourselves a little bit of time here. But other than that, good Ghostbusters movie, great effects.
Oh, absolutely.
It still carries on the family story that is
The Spanglers.
yeah. It's a great sequel to Afterlife. It doesn't have the near heart that Afterlife has,
No.
but I feel like it shouldn't, because at that point the series will get very redundant very, very fast.
Yeah.
Um Also, if you watch the animated series, the real Ghostbusters, you will love this movie. This is essentially a live action episode of the animated series. Which, I mean, any other Ghostbusters adventure besides what the first movie and second movie was, that's what it's gonna feel like. Because the animated series is what we got the most Ghostbuster content from.
Right.
And that's still really weird to think about. But either way, great movie. I don't think I really have anything else to add. I don't think we really can add anything else without getting into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So do you want to take us through your quick review and we'll get the show started?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, the movie we're going to be discussing is Ghostbusters The Frozen Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And the quick review goes as follows. The Ghostbusters finally end up back in New York about 2-3 years after the Oklahoma incident.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, a mysterious artifact is brought into the possession of said Ghostbusters, which contains a very powerful ancient enemy, or deity. It is now up to the Ghostbusters, new and old, and I want to say adjacent characters.
This movie definitely expands upon the lore and the world of Ghostbusters for the better.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this film definitely blows the doors wide open for anything,
Oh, yeah.
really. And if you technically think about it, in the realm of the afterlife, they can do anything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
But it's the new Ghostbusters, the old Ghostbusters, and then adjacent side characters all working in tandem to stop this ancient force.
Mm-hmm. I would say the issues for this film are it kind of drags in the middle.
It can feel like
It
that,
definitely
yeah.
it definitely has some pacing issues.
But I think that's more like a realistic choice.
Right. Yeah,
Because,
it definitely draws out the mystery.
well, not even from the mystery. Like, there's a lot of, like, personal
Mm-hmm.
things going on, and it makes sense that there's going to be pauses and spaces in between because you see characters think about how to respond to something that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going to have these characters bam, 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 one line after another.
And this definitely is much more of a coming of age story
Mm-hmm.
than what Afterlife is, because it deals with being a teenager, both wanting to have the responsibility and then not wanting to just like be a kid,
Right.
and then having to deal with the consequences of wanting to be a kid. So in that instance, I think it really does have much more growing pains for the
Oh,
characters.
yeah.
Um, I think this is a great continuation of Afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, there's nothing really bad to say about this movie except very, very minuscule story choices.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, are we ready to get into production tales?
I do believe so.
And I want everybody to know this is like the most non-existent production tales out there, because it literally it is literally just like, hey, Dan Aykroyd wants to make another Ghostbusters movie continuing the story. Sony's like, okay, let's do it.
We can do that.
Um, but yeah. So after Afterlife came out in 2021, Aykroyd expressed interest in having surviving cast of the original Ghostbusters team reprise their role in 3 sequels. In 2022, in April of 2022, sorry, it was announced that a sequel to Afterlife was in early development at Sony Pictures. In June of 2022, the film was confirmed by director Jason Reitman under the working title Firehouse. Of the
Hmm.
same month, it was announced that the sequel would take place in New York City. On October 5th of 2022, McKenna Grace announced that she would reprise her role. The following month, Ernie Hudson had revealed that he had read the completed script. That means they cranked this script out in less than 5 months.
You know, to each their own.
And I gotta admit, it's a pretty strong script
Oh,
for
absolutely.
it being written in so short amount of time. In December, it was announced that Gil Keenan would take over as director from Reitman, who remained as a writer and producer. It was also announced that Paul Rudd, Finn Wolfhard, and Carrie Coon would return. And in March of 2023, it was announced that Kamal Nanjiani, Patton Oswalt, James Acaster, and Emily Allen Lind had been cast in the film. Lynn's role was established in secrecy during pre-production. She met Reitman, Keenan, and casting director John, I am so sorry for this, Papsidira, and was not aware that she had the role until shortly before filming. According to Nanjiani, the filmmakers drew inspirations from the animated series The Real Ghostbusters, noting they wanted to make a long episode of the animated series.
It feels like that, which is really good.
And have you seen the animated series?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Hmm. I'm pretty sure I own the complete series out there. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Mayhaps.
It's just because there's so many boxes of it. It's hard to tell if it says like, because it says, because I think mine says The Real Ghostbusters, the collection series.
Hmm.
Because I don't think any of them say really the complete series,
Right.
but whatever. Principal photography began on March 20th, 2023, in London, Winnersh Film Studio, and Sheetfield Studios, under the working title Firehouse, with Eric Steelberg serving as the cinematographer. On April 25th, 2023, Hudson indicated that Aykroyd, Murray, and Potts would reprise their role from previous Ghostbuster films.
Okay.
Aykroyd confirmed he would return in the sequel in June. Filming was spotted in New York City, where Casey Neistat was caught filming a stunt scene on a video posted on June 7th, 2023, while documenting the effects of the 2023 Canadian wildfires in New York City. Filming wrapped June 2023. Their filming process, it busted. Like, let's see, it said they started in March and ended in June. That's 4 months? 3 months.
4 months.
4 months. That's,
March, April, May, June, right?
yeah.
Yeah, 4 months.
That means because like almost everything is either on location for all the New York stuff. I mean, that means I'm going to guess the sets were the research facility and the firehouse. That's
Probably.
probably the stuff they shot in London. That'd be my guess. And that is all the information I have for today. I mean, and that just shows that the studio was willing to do whatever it takes to get another Ghostbusters movie out, trying to replicate, sorry, that 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 money. You know what I
Right.
mean? And speaking of which, it's time to get to the money.
Oh, yeah.
Caden, how are you feeling about the game today? Are you feeling you're gonna get it?
Probably not.
Come on, man. You've been getting closer ish.
All right, we'll see.
Frozen Empire had a reported budget of $100 million.
Okay.
How much do you think this movie made?
I'm gonna highball it. $735 million.
Way low.
That's
No,
low.
no, like you gotta go way lower.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Um.
And let me emphasize this. This movie was almost a box office flop
Oh. So
because there's a reason why there hasn't been an officially green lit film.
I would say then about 120 million.
Go a little bit higher.
Hun-
It definitely breached. It made enough money.
100. When I say 190 million,
You're so close. You want to take another guess, or you
Mm,
want me to tell you?
just tell me.
The film made overall $201 million, barely making $202 million.
So it made a little over its double its budget.
Mm-hmm. But like in like when this movie came out and what that the field looks like these days, a lot of people could consider that a bomb because it didn't make an egregious amount of money.
Right.
But still, it made its budget. It did what it had to do at the box office. It's fine. Which includes $113 million in domestic money and 88 million worldwide.
Hmm.
So it definitely managed to make its money back. It's mostly called a flop because of just people
Yeah.
saying it. But no, even Google's like it was a modest success.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was the best thing ever. Modest is probably the best word I'd use for it.
I just think they definitely were expecting to make Afterlife money.
Which, do we remember what the budget and income was for Afterlife?
I'd have to look it up. Um, I know it was a substantial difference. Let me see here. Afterlife box office.
Anyway, to cut out the quiet,
it
Logan's actively looking for the budget.
um it it had a budget of, okay, it doesn't tell me the budget, but it made $204 million.
$204 million.
Yeah.
I feel like we went over the budget last time, though.
We did. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It had a budget of 75 million and it grossed 204. So there is big gap there.
Yeah.
But, when you get into a sequel like this, you're expected to it's going to be a little bit more money.
Oh, absolutely.
And
And
I'm
the
not
thing is, they put more money into it, and they still made back double what they put in, so that would immediately be a success.
Yeah, cuz I feel like once you get to a certain point with the Ghostbusters, people are either going to get uninterested or they're going to get tired of it.
Right.
Because one, you're entering new territory, and a lot of people don't want new territory for the Ghostbusters because it can get really weird, really,
Really quickly.
yeah. And so I can understand why there could be some hesitation to make more because, the novelty is going to wear off eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can kind of see it here with the OGs. I'm so glad that they were much more involved in this film than the last one.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like a true, Ghostbusters 3 more so than what Afterlife did.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're aging at their age, you can only hold on to that for so long before you need the newcomers to carry the franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think they have the shoulders for it, no doubt.
Oh, it's an incredible cast to push the title onto.
But it just feels like the people and the makers aren't ready for that yet. I don't feel like they're ready for the training wheels to come off yet.
Maybe not,
And I
but
think that's why we really haven't gotten a fifth one yet. Granted, it's only been 2 years since this film came out,
right.
but it just goes to show that there might be some hesitation. And at this point in time, in recording this, they just announced Ghostbusters Night
Night Shift,
Shift over on Netflix, which will
which
be produced by Jason Reitman, which is an animated series set in the 90s about a younger crew of Ghostbusters, I believe trying to keep the Ghostbusters running or something like that. I can't think off the top of my head, but I believe it's supposed to be canonical.
okay.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be canonical. But yeah, we can look forward to that next year. I think that comes out next year. But yeah, at least we're still getting Ghostbusters stuff, and we're not just sitting in a lull for another 20 years.
Yeah. I will say, personally, I'm iffy on watching a big name project like that come out of Netflix. Because, like, a lot of their adaptations I've seen haven't been the best. Like, their original projects, astounding. But there have been other projects that they've taken up that have already had names to it that it seems like they've ruined.
Yeah, I could say that, but because I just finished their Devil May Cry series,
Mm-hmm.
or what they have of it. There's still another season to come of that. I've really enjoyed it, and I've liked the departure from the mainline games story because that story in itself is so hard to follow. Um, but I think it definitely makes it more mainstream for people,
Right.
and the story really works. And I'm also in the middle of their Castlevania series. I love how they adapted that. That's a pretty good show. I think there was another one I was going to start when I finished Castlevania, but I can't think off the top of my head. But I think with their animation department, I think they're pretty good in what they got working over there.
And from you said it was in between the second movie and Afterlife,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is a lot of room to work with.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of untapped potential. I can definitely see them making it one of the best shows ever.
Yeah, because I read they're combining uh, long form storytelling, so
Okay.
an overarching story
Okay.
along with serialization. So there's going to be a lot of just little adventures as well as an overarching story in the first season of this show,
Right.
which I'm very excited for that to see because I've noticed a lot more animation is doing that. Like the last season of Phineas and Ferb did that somewhat by having a lot more callbacks to things and having like things be like set up for later episodes, which never happened before in the other seasons.
Right.
I think that's something new. And I don't know if I liked it or not, but hey, I'm here for any Phineas and Ferb I can get. So we're going to roll with it. Anything else you want to add before we get into spoiler territory, my good man?
I think we should be good.
All right. And this is your only warning. Watch the film, come back and join us, or just spoil the movie for yourself, I guess. We can't tell you what to do, really, I suppose. But yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
All right, guys.
The
The
movie begins.
I was hesitant to do it because I know you've been giving me some slack the past few episodes for it. But you know what? I'm glad you're finally pulling your weight for the movie
Nope,
begins part.
because I'm gonna switch it up. I'm
Oh,
instead of saying that, I'm just gonna say in 1904,
hey, nice. I like that.
our opening scene shows the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Nice. I like that.
I know.
Do you
You,
want to keep going?
sure.
Go ahead.
So, 1904, the opening scene shows us the original Ghostbusters firehouse in the beginning stages of New York's, I want to say, building phase.
I think the one guy calls it the Gilded Age of New York.
Sounds about right. So, immediately, the old timey horse wagon carriage is sent out as the fire department
Mm-hmm.
is sent out to the Manhattan Adventurer Society building.
Yes.
The police and the fire department go up the stairs to see what's going on, and at the top of the stairs is a double door that is cold to the touch. So cold that the chief, upon putting his hand on it, it immediately freezes over. So
And
they,
like, and by the way, this effect is super cool.
mm-hmm.
How they handle this throughout the movie. I love the freezing effects.
Oh, absolutely. So instead of putting their hands on it, they grab their fire axes and just decide to break down the door. Upon entering, they see an entire room of, I would say, about 10 people
At least.
frozen solid.
And there's like ice spikes. They're like 5 feet tall
Mm-hmm.
in this room as well.
The people, the furniture, everything inside this room is frozen. So the police chief or the fire chief is looking around and he's seeing all these people frozen in place. And way off in the distance is a person covered in brass.
Brass. But I do want to mention there is a uh one of those I can't think of the name, but like it plays records.
Gramophone.
Gramophone. There is a gramophone that is going with a guy's hand that is broken off because it froze off, and his hand is still going.
And I really like that effect. It was cool to see.
And a shout out to our friend Hunter, who is the props guy. He loves Ghostbusters. He was like, they did so much practical effects for this movie. It is unreal. That was real. The rolling wax cylinder, I think they said was real.
Okay.
But yeah, like they did so much real stuff. Because like when this movie came out, that's all he could talk about was the effects and stuff they did. So shout out to Hunter out there.
So there's one individual covered in all, I wouldn't even say armor, like ceremonial garbs. And in her hands is a brass orb full of intricate details and hieroglyphics. And the orb is slowly closing, and we cut inside the orb to see the main antagonist, who we don't learn the name of until later on in the movie.
And all we see are the bright blue eyes.
But when we see his eyes light up, it cuts back to the room, and every frozen corpse shatters.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we cut to the modern day.
Absolutely.
And so now we're back with the original Ghostbusters,
Quote unquote, the original
or
Ghostbusters.
the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the new
My
Ghostbusters.
apologize. But they're currently chasing down the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon,
That's correct.
which it's a cool name for it, but Leviathan I think would have been cooler.
I think it's more because the shape of this dragon takes more a
Like
reference from like Chinese and Oriental stuff. Like it's like a gigantic serpent.
Oh, absolutely. But the team is currently chasing the dragon through the highways, the streets, all of that. The car is malfunctioning though, and I think it's funny because right now New York is in the middle of a heat wave. So the car's overheating as they're speeding down the road,
And they're like, "Can we turn the AC on?"
and it kills power to Ecto 1.
So like the horn's gone,
The lights are gone.
and so Trevor has to like do something in the back to fix it. I'm glad they don't change Trevor at all.
I'm glad Trevor is more like a mechanic character.
Mm-hmm.
Like he still retains that kind of personality from the first movie.
Yeah, they definitely make him a standout in the sense like he can hold his own for different things, but he's still not a very strong character.
No.
Like they don't really give him much to do in this movie in particular.
Yeah.
They definitely try to ram home that this is Phoebe's movie.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't need to be, but that's what they chose.
And that's okay. But Phoebe decides to go out in the gunner seat despite Callie telling her not to. Right, Callie?
Yep, Callie and Gary. Don't
Yep.
tell her not to.
So she goes out in the gunner seat, which Callie says, not during rush hour. Phoebe doesn't listen. So she manages to grapple on to the serpent, and they deploy the rover, and then the serpent flies upwards, out of the range of the rover trap, which then leads into the one thing we were discussing a lot in the last episode, the drone trap.
Yeah, because you were like, because it was one of the questions. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, what would be a great way to interpret new technology or whatever? And you're like, dude, if they could just put a ghost trap on a drone and have
Slam it into Ghost.
the goggles be like you're driving or whatever. I remembered a drone trap from
I
this movie.
I did not. And when I saw them pull out the drone, I was so ecstatic.
He like threw his notebook everywhere. He jumped off the couch. He was like, yes, yes.
They brought the drone. And it's so cool the way they do it because,
And it's a double-sided trap as well.
yeah. But Callie's currently in control of the drone, chasing after the serpent. Well, it goes around a building and she follows only for it to come at her. So she flies the drone straight up, which it's still chasing her, and
Mhm.
she slams down on it with the bottom side of the trap. And this captures it, and it's so cool to watch.
Yeah, this movie definitely homes in on making new toys for the Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
And like that's really the only thing you can do if you keep making them. Like, they can't just keep using the proton packs every time.
Yeah.
I mean, is it cool? Yeah. But they got to keep making new toys.
I mean, every movie has introduced something new. Like
Mm-hmm.
the first movie, it started it all. The second movie had the
The
mood slime,
yeah, the slime guns.
and then Afterlife brought us the rover,
Mm-hmm.
which they're small things, but they play big parts when you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
But after they catch the serpent, Gary accidentally takes his eyes off the road and it goes into kind of a swerve and miss kind of situation. And he eventually ends up crashing into the electric rental bikes that you see everywhere nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And the last comment he says is, "Who put spikes there?" And what I really like about this scene is before it ends, you see the drone just kind of swerve and land back on the ground. This opening scene is so good.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely one of the stronger openings in the
Mm.
franchise.
Oh yeah.
Then we cut to the mayor.
Well, we
Wait,
do
wait.
Winston.
Yes, that is correct. We learned that Winston is the owner of the Ghostbusters
Hmm.
through a series of TV ads and whatever. And we get, and he pretty much like said, "Hey, we're open back for business," and our Spangler family is running the show.
Yep.
Winston is the money and the power. Ray really doesn't involve himself with it. Pete is doing his own stuff. Kind of. It's hard to say about.
We'll kind of get back into that in a minute.
But then it cuts to the mayor's office.
Yep.
Caden, who is the mayor?
Oh, I can't remember what his name was, but
Walter Peck.
yep. And he was the mayor's assistant in
No, he was an EPA guy
I don't
in
know.
the original movie.
And then he was the
He was the secondary antagonist in the video game.
yeah, because he was part of the defamation crew for Ghostbusters trying to defund them.
Yep, and he becomes possessed in that story.
Yep.
Gotta love it. But as we all know, that's not canon.
Anymore.
But
He's returned and he's the mayor now,
and he still hates the Ghostbusters.
which is really funny.
Like it's so on character for him to still be like the prick that he is. But you know what? It's still fun to see him.
Oh yeah.
Um Gary, but no, he learns that Phoebe is a minor
15.
and that she should not be doing any contracting work or whatever. And Gary opens his mouth. He's like, "Dude, she's not getting paid. Come on."
None of us are getting paid.
And then that's when the mayor throws in child labor laws into effect. So she is permanently suspended from being a Ghostbuster until she turns 18.
Yep.
And this is when the start of the fall of Phoebe's character begins.
Which it makes sense because I feel like the best way to describe her character throughout the movie is teenage angst.
Coming out in a way that of a teenager that doesn't know how to be angsty.
Yeah.
um, but no, Gary and Callie just refer to her. They just want her to be a kid,
Yeah, just live like a teenager for a little bit instead of hunting ghosts.
and they promise her that it's gonna fly by. And that's like the thing they. And Gary is still not like an official member of the family, but he's still has taken up that dad mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And like I like how Gary and Callie's talk goes right after this is like, I don't know what my place is. And she's like, I want you to be an a-hole to my kids. And that is literally what is said in the movie. That's what being a parent is, according to Callie.
And he's like, "Oh, I can do that. I can be super scary."
He just like
And
grabs a towel out of the laundry, just like flows it on the floor. It's like, oh my gosh, I scared myself.
I feel like that was more Paul Rudd than Gary.
I don't think there's a difference between Paul Rudd and Gary. I don't think there's a difference between any Paul Rudd characters.
Yeah, probably not.
They're just different levels of Paul Ruddiness, I guess. um, and we learned that their the containment system is having some issues,
Yeah.
and that is a major plot point of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first saw this movie, I was like, "Hey, I was curious if they were ever going to address that or not,"
And they did.
because it's still been sitting full ever since 1984. But whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's full, or at the very least, it's getting full.
Because it takes at least two full-grown people to pull the lever these days.
Mm-hmm. Which they bring it up later, but it was bound to happen. Almost what 40 years of capturing Ghost and putting it in that one containment.
Yeah,
It was bound to happen.
yeah. And then we cut to Ray and podcast. They have a YouTube show called Repossessed, where they
Yeah.
bring on people who think their item is haunted,
Mm-hmm.
and if it is, Ray buys it from them, and if it isn't,
Podcast smashes it with a hammer.
because that's what gets the views, according to him.
And the first scene we see is with this elderly lady who brings in her deceased husband's watch.
Named Harold. Go ahead, keep going.
A little on the nose there.
Just a little bit.
But she's like, it beeps every time I walk into a room. And so Ray pulls out the PKE meter and it doesn't go off. And I was thinking, first time I watched this, I'm like, oh, yeah, she'll just walk off with it. Nothing happens. And then podcast smashes it. I'm like, oh, that's not cool.
But like, because like the old lady's like, beep for them, Harold, please.
And she sat there dumbfounded by watching podcasts destroy her late husband's watch.
And he's like, okay, next guest. But yeah, that's their main gig right now, because Ray still has the bookstore
Yeah.
and everything. Then it cuts to Phoebe. Sorry, I forgot her name there for a second. Ray asks for a sample of the mood slime, which leads to nothing. It's
No.
just a callback to Ghostbusters 2, which they are more adept to bringing up Ghostbusters 2 in this movie than they were in the last one, because they almost didn't reference it at all in the
Right.
last movie. But in this one, they already referenced the Statue of Liberty, the mood slime, and this is when they start talking about the mini puffs show back up. There's no reason for these guys to exist in this movie.
Ray just wanted to keep them as souvenirs.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's very on brand for him.
It is, but like,
They're sadistic. I would maybe keep one or two, but not. Well, no, I scratch that. Ray might have only kept one or two.
yeah, because podcast is like, I think they're reproducing. Which it probably just going to happen. They're probably just going to split in half, and it just becomes two separate entities.
Which, I mean, infinite marshmallows, I guess.
I guess that's if you want sentient marshmallows in your s'mores, I guess.
Well, you gotta remember, they don't care about being burned, cut, slashed, stabbed, stomped,
That's
blended
true.
up, doesn't matter.
They're very sadistic little things.
Mm,
um, but Then we get a box of antiquities from Mr. Nadim. I forget his last name,
Hold on. I got it wrote down somewhere.
but this is Kamal Nanjiani's character.
I had it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I swear I had it wrote down. You gotta believe me. Nadim Resmian?
Resmani.
Resmani, that's what it is.
Okay, so we meet Nadim Resmani, and he has a box of old brass items from his recently departed grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And in in the bottom of the box is the orb from the beginning of the film.
What?
I know, right? That's crazy. I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either.
But Ray uses the PKE meter on it, and the PKE meter explodes,
Mm-hmm.
and it causes an earthquake.
And something else I want to mention is when Ray scans the orb,
Mm-hmm.
the mini mellows kind of cower away in fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that just tells you how dangerous the thing is
Oh yeah,
in that orb.
and it like shatters his desk.
I
Like,
think it whatever the thing is inside can increase the weight
mm-hmm.
because we've seen it just suddenly drop and break whatever it lands on.
Yeah, but no, this thing creates a earthquake, and it cracks the containment unit.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Cracks the walls around the
yeah.
containment unit. Sorry. But this is when Janine is here because she's like the connection to Winston, and she's dealing with Gary, and she's pretty much just being Janine to him. There's no real way to explain what she says to him.
It's
Because
just
like,
very cryptic.
and so she's like, and Gary's like, so is Winston's people gonna come take care of this, or you leave Winston to me? So it sounds like Winston's not very involved in like the ghost busting half of the
Yeah.
operation.
Which I mean, most higher up individuals tend not to be.
Mm. But we get a returning character in this next part. So Trevor has been plagued with a leaky roof for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it is leaking green slime.
Mm-hmm.
Caden, who is he picking a fight with?
The one, the only, Slimer.
And in the attic, Slimer has a nest
Of trash, snack wrappers, drink cans.
at least 3 foot high.
Mm-hmm.
But he just takes a trap upstairs. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna get this guy. So he just walks up to the pile of trash. He just starts lifting things with his foot, and he reveals Slimer's face. And Slimer's like, and just slimes him.
And I talked to Logan about this. I'm like, Trevor feels like the new Peter Venkman, just to a not as good degree.
That's because he's the only one dumb enough to pick a fight with Slimer and just not let him be.
Yeah.
Because the only person antagonistic against Slimer was Peter.
Yeah.
In both the movie and in the game.
Which, granted, in Peter's defense, Slimer slimed him first.
That's true.
So Peter just holds a grudge. Which I'm so sad. You know what? I won't say it yet.
Yeah, that's fair. And we get a call, we get a job, and they leave Phoebe behind.
And Phoebe is not happy about this.
Because this happens a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and this first time she just seems heartbroken about it. Because Gary feels for her. He really does.
Right.
But he also knows there's nothing he can do about it. And so she leaves, and she goes to the park, and she starts setting up a chessboard.
Mm-hmm.
We start playing ghost chess again. But this is not with Egon.
Nope. This is with a, what was it? A burn victim
Mm-hmm.
named Melody.
And I just want to say off the bat, this is my biggest issue with the movie.
Not the character, the kind
The
of
the
relationship.
choices made
Yeah.
with this character. Had this character just been like a one-off thing, I think the movie would have been a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But there are romantic implications between Phoebe and this ghost girl.
And for me and Logan, that just, it doesn't sit right with us.
It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Like, we were talking, if the implications were more friendship based, that would make sense. That would be, I think that would work better than,
And I do believe that that is their intent. But the way the script goes and the way the two act out the scenes, it is much more leaning on the end of romantic
mm-hmm.
because of the way Phoebe acts and the way that she just like looks at her or
Yeah,
whatever. There's just much more implicating that there are romantic undertones in this storyline.
yeah,
Like my issue is not with the fact that a girl likes a girl by any means whatsoever. It is just the idea that that's how they want to handle the teen angst story by having potential romantic implications with a ghost girl.
yeah. It doesn't harm the movie.
Mm-mm.
It just doesn't feel like it fits in sometimes.
It definitely is like a giant slap in the face whenever this story comes up,
Mm-hmm.
at least to me, anyways. But like Ian said, it doesn't hurt the movie.
No.
It is important to the story,
Mm-hmm.
but if they had just written it just a little bit differently, and
Yeah.
like maybe it's just the two actors' chemistry, that could be it too. I don't
Or
know.
or maybe we're the problem. That could
That's
also
that's
be.
potential too. You know, I don't. I'm
But
just we're just saying that's our biggest gripe,
mm-hmm.
and so yeah, but they just meet
They play
and
chess
yeah, and she actually beats Phoebe.
like 3 times.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool. Not many people could do that.
No. But in Melody's case, it makes sense because
She's been haunting that park for
probably a good 100 years,
something like that.
50 years, something. So, and she's seen a lot of people play chess there.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Phoebe's no slouch.
Yeah. And this is when we get a lore dump about the containment unit. The explosion created in from 1984 created a dimensional rift in the containment unit.
Yeah.
So that means the containment unit is essentially a door to the other side.
It just hasn't been opened yet.
And causing and that's what's causing the unstable containment unit. Because, you know, there's an entire dimension behind it.
Yeah.
And then we get taken, and Winston is the one who told us this. And we get taken to Winston's research center. I forget what its like actual name is, but we're just gonna call it the research center.
Research Center. Paranormal Research Center.
Yeah, paranormal research center.
And it used to be a rundown aquarium where squatters and raves would take place.
Mm-hmm. But now it's essentially Winston's Batcave,
Mm-hmm.
and we meet Lars. I like Lars.
He's a good character.
He's essentially like the new Egon taking place for Phoebe, who's just dealing with main character syndrome. But I digress.
I would say the difference between Lars and Egon is Lars isn't as cautious as Egon, maybe.
Mm-mm.
Lars feels more like hands on, ignoring the caution, whereas Egon would want to be up close and personal while keeping as much cautionary detail
Yeah.
by his side as
He's
possible.
like a rock star scientist.
Yeah.
It just doesn't help that they made him look like Egon more than Phoebe looks like Egon.
Well, that's you can't really argue with that. That's genetic
But
thing.
I will say that he looks more like the animated series Egon
Mm.
with like the blonde
Yep.
hair and everything, and he wears the blue suit.
Yep.
So like I liked that nod.
That might have. That's probably what they were going for.
But we learn about the extractor, where they take all of because Ray still works with them at the research center, and because he brings them all of the possessed items.
Hmm.
And so what they do is they put an item in this machine and it extracts the entity from the machine
From the item into the machine.
and then it puts them in a ghost trap.
It's actually a really cool.
Concept.
It's just the only problem is it's not very fast.
No, not at all.
I think for realistically, takes about anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
Yeah, because it's just the ghost putting up a fight.
Yeah.
And this is where we meet the possessor ghost. Doesn't have a name. It's
It's
just
just
possessor.
yeah. When we don't ever see a physical form either.
And all it is just a little red dot that just
I wouldn't even say dot, more like a ball of smoke.
yeah. But all it does is it just possesses any inanimate objects.
And it moves fast
It
too.
books.
Yeah.
Um, this is when we get Gary and Phoebe, and Gary's trying to be like, "Hey, Phoebe, I need help with this." No, he's trying to be like the caring dad, and he
He's
does a.
trying to go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Fine. He tries to be the caring dad who knows what you're going through, and he does it so well.
Right.
Now you may go.
This is he's just trying to boost her confidence, trying to get her back in that like fix it up mind state.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he does is he simply unplugs a cord from a proton pack. So he calls her over, she looks at it, plugs it back in real simple, and she's like, "It was just unplugged."
And then he's like, "I
Oh,
know it seems forever, but it won't be."
yeah.
I love Paul Rudd's performance in this movie.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
so much heart in his performance. More, he was less comic relief in this one than he was in Afterlife.
Right.
But then they get another call, and Gary's like, "Sorry," and he just grabs his proton pack and just scuttles off.
Which, I mean, makes sense. I would say probably the smartest Ghostbuster there was Phoebe, with
Mm-hmm.
the second one being Gary.
Yeah. And
So,
so they get another call, and Phoebe answers. And so her and Podcast decide to take this call,
mm.
which we haven't brought up Podcast much for this because he really doesn't have much to do in this movie.
Also, it has only been like 2 or 3 years.
He looks like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, his actor has aged like crazy.
And I do love, however, that he's staying with Ray and
Yeah.
they acknowledge his parents. He tells them he's staying at space camp. So what, he just lives with Ray in the summer and just books in the fall?
Probably.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Hey, to each their own.
And so it cuts back to the research facility and Lars and Lucky, who Lucky works with Lars.
Yeah.
Sorry we didn't bring that up. She doesn't play much part in this movie either. Um,
There's
2 or 3 scenes.
there's a glaring problem with this movie. There's too many bodies, not enough roles to actively fill.
it just tries to bring back everybody from Afterlife while trying to tell new stories with new characters that have to be there.
Right.
And so they just make really interesting decisions for these characters. Like, why is Lucky there? Like, her dad is the sheriff in Oklahoma. Like, there is no reason for her to be there
In New York City,
because,
unless they moved there.
she was only like a year or two older than Trevor is.
Mm-hmm.
So like, she's not graduated by any means. Because like, we can't say Trevor's in high school or not because it's in the middle of summer. Maybe that's the reason why she's in New York is because it's summer.
I think the reason was like an internship or something.
Maybe, but
But yeah, Lucky has really one important scene.
and this ain't even it.
No, but realistically, we probably could have gone without Lars.
I feel like Lars is more important to the story than the other two are.
Just a little bit, but we could have cut him out. We could have cut Lucky out. We could have cut Melody out, or at least,
We could have cut out a gigantic portion of Melody's story.
yeah,
Podcast, he could have been left out too.
yeah.
But I will say, I'm glad all these characters are in this movie.
They definitely did. It definitely feels like a good story with all the characters.
But it just interesting choices of why they're there. Let's
Well,
just say it like that.
like I said before, too many bodies and not enough roles to fill.
Because this movie is just under 2 hours.
And without the credits, I think it's like an hour, 40 minutes.
So like, this is a very quick movie.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, they take the call, then it cuts to the research center, and Lars and Lucky are trying to extract the orb.
Mm-hmm.
This orb shuts down the power to the facility.
The whole facility, not
And
just a single room.
and in this facility are atriums, where essentially where the fish were, but they store ghosts there to study them.
And they keep them in these kind of prisons with walls of proton fields.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, these are powered by,
Power.
yeah, the power grid.
And there are some creepy ghosts in these atriums.
I don't think they ever explained the really creepy one.
No, the one that's got like a weird clearish face or whatever.
Like a Cloverfield body.
Yeah.
They never explained that one.
But no, I do want to bring up the possessor, because this thing is just, it's possessing a chair,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just beating against the glass. And Lars is like, if you're good, I'll give you a tennis ball later. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, like the chair just kind of stands upright, like that got his attention.
So it definitely shows that Lars has a good repertoire with the ghosts.
At least with the possessor.
Yeah. But no, after the power shuts off, the possessor tries to break out. This creepy looking dude that never gets any name or story or whatever starts slowly coming through the glass. And Lars gets the power back on, and you just see them both like, oh, nope, never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I don't think it was because he was scared. I think it was because the
The
proton
energy, yeah.
had already started hitting him.
And then he goes to grab the orb, and it starts freezing his hand.
Instantly.
And so he throws it down, and this thing sounds like
He didn't throw it down.
he dropped it.
Mm-hmm. And it cracks the floor from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what reinforces my idea that the creature inside can increase the weight of the orb.
Right.
But I do have a little theory I want to throw out there.
Okay.
So the possessor was slamming the chair against the window, trying to get Lars's or Lars,
Trying to get out.
yeah, trying to get Lars's attention because well, also trying to get out. But I believe it was also trying to get Lars's attention so he would stop the extraction.
Yeah, because we learn things about this ghost later on in the film that makes more sense for that.
Because real quick, whatever's in that orb can control other ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the possessor knew that. So That's all I'm gonna say. I think the possessor is trying to stop
I have a
Lars.
theory for the possessor that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, but I'm going to save it. Um, but anyways, it cuts to their Phoebe and podcast call,
Mhm.
and it's at Melody Restaurant, which is a Melody Diner,
Mhm.
and Melody is there,
Little also on the nose.
and so um, Phoebe flinches and she vanishes, and then she just shoots a gigantic hole in one of the glass windows. And Podcast is like, "What are you doing, man? Come on, you're supposed to be the best at this." And then they just chase after it, and Phoebe ends up back at the firehouse, and she hides her proton pack and stuff. And Melody shows up outside her window,
Yeah.
and this is when the romantic thing kind of starts to come across. Because as soon as Phoebe sees her, she like straightens up her outfit or whatever. Just, okay.
It's like I said, we might be looking into it too much, but that's how it comes across to us
Mm-hmm. And then Phoebe gives her the tour.
of the firehouse.
Uh huh. And she looks at the containment unit and she just asks, "So what do you think happens to us?" And Phoebe's like, "I think we just dissipate in energy and become a part of the fabric of the universe." And Melody's like, "I like that." And then her mom shows up and then Melody just vanishes.
And I think the reason Phoebe says that is because she watched it happen to Egon.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, I'm so sad with this movie because we only ever get one joke from Phoebe.
Oh yeah.
And that was like my favorite part of her character, and the joke was actually so good. It
I
was
think it's go ahead.
the joke was a proton particle goes to the airport. Security asked if they need help with their luggage, and Proton's like, "No thanks. I always carry light."
Anywho,
It's a
but
good
I
joke.
think they get rid of that because they're trying to make her an angstier character.
Mm,
So like she's not in her same headspace as she normally is.
which that makes sense.
Um, but um, but this movie kind of hones in on the theory of ghost objects and everything like that. And Melody has an object,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a single match
Match and matchbook.
named Melody. So my theory for her is she accidentally lit a fire, and that's what killed her family, and that's why she can't cross over, and that be like why her object is a match because she died because her family died in a fire.
Yes, but she said herself she accidentally started that fire.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna. That's my thing. Um, but then we cut to Melody walking down the street because you do as a ghost female, I suppose.
What does being a female have to do with it?
Sorry, just a ghost person in general, just walking down the street
Yeah,
because like you do.
I know I would
Yeah, that's fair.
freak, freak, freak people out and then just disappear.
It's like Abu. um, but no, we learn that Melody is working for whatever entity is in the orb.
And it, even inside the orb,
It
it
still creates gigantic ice things to show that it's traveling or whatever.
missed.
Yeah.
And it still shuts off all the power in the street that she's walking in.
Mm-hmm. Then it cuts the next day, and Trevor is fighting with Slimer again.
And you brought this up, and I wrote it down. He does a Scooby Doo skit, and I'll let you explain the skit.
So Trevor is creating a lure of Cheetos to the ghost trap. And so he hides behind boxes, and he has a proton pack actually with him this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so Slimer actually like reaches his hand out, grabs a handful of Cheetos, and he slowly makes his way out, makes his way out, and then I'm pretty sure they get a call or something, or like the alarm rings or something, and then uh, Trevor stands up, and Slimer's like, and slimes him again.
I think,
Classic.
yeah. Again, this reinforces my idea that Trevor's the new Peter.
And I love how in this one he just spits it out of his mouth. He's like, yeah. I can only imagine that tastes horrible.
Oh, absolutely.
But the alarm's going off because there is an ice attack on the containment unit. It's like just like covered in ice. The wall around it is like completely gone,
Mm-hmm.
exposing the pipes. And then it cuts to the research facility, and we learn that the orb is at absolute zero. The temperature where all particles stop.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were. I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about what I was going to say.
But Lars picks up the orb with a grabber, and he holds it against a glass thing with the mini puffs,
Mini mellow, mini puffs, whatever you want to call them.
and they're just like mesmerized by it.
Mm-hmm.
And Podcast just starts recording it on his phone, and so we learn that this thing can control other ghosts in its vicinity.
Mm-hmm. And what I was going to add is Lars's hand is really messed up from when
Yeah, he's in like a cast and everything.
like his hand is completely bandaged up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he held on to it for like 3 seconds. That shows you just how much damage it actually did.
And so Ray says who brought it to him. I mean, then we go back and we meet Nadim again, who is living in his grandmother's apartment.
And the ones that go to greet him are
Trevor, Lars,
Lucky.
and Lucky.
Okay.
And I love the joke thing that goes around here because all of she either has like a secret room in her back room that's made of brass or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they call it a sex dungeon. It's a great joke line.
Yeah. And Nadim tries to defend himself and say it's not.
Like there wouldn't be chains in one of those, and they're all like, "Yes, there would be."
Yeah.
And then I love how he's like, I know as soon as I said it, I realized there would be, so I don't even have an argument. But like the chainmail is in there, and I mean, this is when we learn this was that lady from the beginning of the movie
Mm-hmm.
that she was the fire master and she was protecting it because like this entire room is just like made out of like brass because there's like no echo, nothing.
Which we learn in olden times, brass was thought to be like a natural container for evil spirits.
And so Lucky pulls the PKE meter on Nadine and he lights it up. And he's like, "What does this mean?"
I wouldn't say he lights it up. He activates it, but it's not like a super strong.
Right. Then it cuts to back to the bookstore because Phoebe asks Ray if he ever wanted to feel like what it meant to be a ghost. And I think this scene kind of hammers in, for us at least, that romantic vibe
Mm-hmm.
because she want to knows like what she feels or whatever. Or that like I don't want to be a person anymore. Being a teenager sucks.
Yeah.
That kind of whiny angsty. Because she's much more of a whiny angsty teen than just an angsty teen.
But it doesn't come out as whiny as when you think about it, it is. But in the moment, it's just like, oh, she's just asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, when you really think about it, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a whiny, angsty teen right there.
But podcast listen to a video and he thinks the audio is corrupted, but the orb is speaking in the video to the other ghosts in
It's
its native language.
it's a very much dead language though.
And not even Ray knows it.
And that tells you how dead the language actually is.
But Ray says he knows a guy. And then it cuts to the Ecto C
Which is a motorcycle.
with a sidecar.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
So we have the Ecto 1, which is the main vehicle. We have the Ecto B from the game,
Which
which
is the
is.
boat,
Mhm. And then we have the Ecto C.
which is the cycle.
Mhm.
It cuts back to the research center, and Peter's here.
Yep.
He's
He,
doing a neurological test on Nadine.
which I was going to say this earlier, but I think Peter still works with the Ghostbusters because he has his own office.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that you would just randomly spring up.
Yeah, I think he does work with him, but I just think it's for like specific things.
Right.
Because like Peter is a good scientist.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
I didn't know he was a scientist.
Yeah, he's Dr. Peter Venkman.
Oh. He could have just given himself that name.
He was at the college with them in the first movie.
Okay, I'm sure it could have been a walk on campus.
But anyways, he does a bunch of neurological tests on him, and he notices whenever Nadine gets mad, a Bunsen burner arises or whatever. So he just starts throwing pens at him.
Like nonstop. And Nadim's like, "Will you stop? And what are you looking at?" As he turns around to see the Bunsen burner slowly start dying out.
He's like, "Can I go now?" No. Then it cuts to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that library.
The one that has been the bane of the Ghostbusters' existence since they first came out.
But we meet and I didn't write his name down because I couldn't see it, but I looked it up. He is Dr. Hubert Wartsky, played by Patton Oswalt.
I thought you were about to say Hubert Farnsworth.
I was just going to call him Dr. Patton Oswalt, but I didn't think that'd be on the nose. But it is just Patton Oswalt being Patton Oswalt. But
I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't remember ever seeing him in anything else.
He's in a lot of sci-fi stuff. He's more known for being a voice actor.
Mm.
But he is like the keeper of all things cryptic and nerdy in the library system.
Because he also talks about H.P. Lovecraft section.
Yeah, because he's the headmaster of like the local H.P. Lovecraft club or whatever.
I need to find that club.
I know, right? That'd be a fun club to join. More than just reading books, watching movies, and playing video games. We need a Lovecraft Society in Van Wert, everybody.
No, we don't. We don't. We don't need to be pulling eldritch horrors from beyond the abyss on a random Tuesday night because we can't find our spare keys to get into our house.
That you know of.
Great and mighty Agathoth, I have lost my spare keys. Give me the knowledge to find them. And you find them, and then, the rest of Van Wert's in eternal damnation.
Thanks for the keys, bro.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable.
Just look for your keys yourself.
Just don't ask for Sothoth for your keys. Just ask any of the others. But no, we learned that the orb has been a thing since I forget when specifically.
They didn't say, but
Pre-Sumeria. Pre-Sumeria.
They said the last time it was sighted it wasn't taken as a picture, it wasn't painted, it was a stone carving.
And we learned that this is the prison for Garaka.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting name.
But Garaka is a phantom god. I don't think he could really care less about his
That's
name.
true. But he possesses the death chill,
Hmm.
the power to die from fear itself.
Which, when you think about it, it makes sense. Because when you're afraid, you kind of freeze up.
Freeze. Yeah. But his entire thing was he wanted to raise an undead army and take over the world. But he was stopped by the Fire Masters,
Hmm.
who is Nadim's lineage. And then Hubert pulls out a wax cylinder. He said this was recorded in 1904 in an adventurers club when they recited this passage, and everybody in that room froze to death in the middle of July.
Hmm.
So on this cylinder is the passage required to free Garaka from his prison. And podcast records it.
Why?
This is also just like a thing that's just tossed away. It's not important whatsoever later on in the story. But somehow, um, the possessor.
I can explain this.
Okay.
So, when Lars was originally showing everybody the orb's effect on other ghosts, Garaka froze the proton wall around the possessor. The possessor hopped onto a mop that was slanted against the window, and then the possessor then proceeded to make his way onto podcast equipment.
Okay.
Because they show it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that. Wow.
It was like
It's really quick then.
a minute sequence.
Hmm.
But the first indication is like the PKE wall device starts freezing over.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, the possessor takes the cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to talk about my theory here at the end of this little sequence, because the possessor goes through the library, possesses a trash bag. It runs around like it's a cartoon character.
It's really funny.
It is. And so it possesses one of the gigantic lions
Mm-hmm.
out front,
I
and
think
then
Fortitude.
something like that, yeah. And Phoebe destroys it. And so my theory is the possessor is trying to take it to hide it. Because why else would it just like give up on it? You know what I mean? Because like it didn't attempt to take the cylinder anywhere else. Because like it wasn't destroyed,
The cylinder?
the the possessor.
Possessor. No.
So I'm just gonna guess it wasn't trying to take it to Garaka, but I think it was trying to just keep it out of human hands.
Mm.
That is my theory. You can do with it what you will. That's what I'm gonna stick with.
During the little chase sequence, though, we do have a callback to one of the first ghosts we've ever encountered.
And you may continue with that line.
We finally see, after almost what, 30 years?
40 years, something like
40
that.
years. The the librarian once again.
And Ray sees it and he gets spooked by it
Yeah,
again.
she charges right at him.
But yeah, the lion gets possessed and the cops arrive. And the mayor uses this opportunity to take everything away from the Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoebe has a little inside joke in this thing where she's given an option to do the right thing or to fight. And it just cuts to the aftermath. So the mayor is like, do you want to behave or do you want to get arrested? And it cuts to her in handcuffs.
And I was really, and they even joke about this. Gary's like, man, I was really expecting her to behave.
And then earlier it's like, I don't even know where she learned some of those words.
Yeah.
But but no, Phoebe's like, you're not a Spangler. If you weren't a Spangler, you'd be answering our phones.
And
And Gary's like, you don't talk to your mother that way. Gary's finally being a dad, man.
he put his foot down and he put it down hard.
And then she just storms off. And Callie just looks at him and is like, I'm proud of you. He's like, really? Thanks.
She's like, it sucks though, doesn't it?
Yeah. But no, they get back to the house and Phoebe has to pick lock to get in.
Because the city has pretty much condemned the firehouse.
Yep. And so Gary and Callie have a talk, and I love this. This is Paul Rudd being the best version of Paul Rudd. This entire speech is based around the theme song. He's like, when something happens in the neighborhood,
Who
who you
you
gonna
gonna
call?
call when there's something strange and it doesn't look good? Who you gonna call?
And Callie's like, Ghostbusters. He's like, yeah, we're the Ghostbusters.
And this is the line he says afterwards.
He's like, and you know what?
Bustin' makes me feel good.
And she's like, get out. You know, he's like, but it does.
It's like, oh, you can't say that.
But Ray and Nadeem are in and they're in the basement and they're trying to train him on how to bend fire.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you're so full of crap. And he just waves his hand and the fire's like, woo.
Yeah, it follows him without him really trying. It doesn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
but it still kind of follows his movement.
Which is cool. I like the fire effects in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
But Gary walks up to Phoebe's door and he gives her this heartfelt speech. I can't really tell you what it was about per se, but I think it was more like just like a,
I'm proud of you. It's a struggle right now, but it'll be all right. You're one of the greatest people I know. Just trying to motivate her.
mm-hmm.
And unfortunately,
She's not there.
no.
Caden, where is she?
Back at the park,
With
Melody.
Melody.
Yep.
And so,
And I can't say it enough. The character's okay. I actually really like the character. It's just the way they go about it.
because like even in this scene, it really feels romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, if you could do something bad, he's like, I wouldn't want you to get in trouble. It's very flirtatious.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it.
It doesn't sit well with the rest of the movie, it feels like.
No. Because like even with Gary and Callie's romance stuff, it feels like they've been together for years. Like there is that chemistry there.
Right.
The chemistry ain't there for this, for
Mm-mm.
them to make it feel romantic. And that's why it feels weird, I think. But Phoebe breaks into the research center and Phoebe puts herself in the extraction machine.
And I love this part because just in my notes I have Phoebe dies.
Because essentially she does for what, a minute or two?
2 minutes. Her soul is permanently extracted. Well, not permanently, but her soul is extracted from her body for 2 minutes.
And then Phoebe walks up to Melody and she's like, boo. So original, but whatever.
Well, that's because
That's their inside joke.
yeah, every time Melody sees Phoebe, she goes boo.
But Melody just like looks like she's crying and Phoebe's like, what's wrong? She's like, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
And then she's like, sorry for what? And then automatically Phoebe gets possessed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, Garaka can only possess ghosts, not human beings. And so he possesses her and forces her to say the incantation because she knows it to release him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Melody's like, he's the only way I can see my family again. And so he gets released. Uh, uh, darkness throws out the room. Um, Phoebe wakes back up, and Lucky tries to shoot him with a proton stream, and it freezes the stream.
Yeah, this is like, no offense to the character, but this is probably the only real useful thing Lucky actually does.
And that's essentially save Phoebe.
Which, yeah, she saves Phoebe by distracting Garaka,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. But yeah, not I want to say Baraka.
I know, right?
Garaka freezes the proton stream itself.
And almost freezes Lucky.
Yeah.
But Gary and Callie show up. They rescue the two kids. Um, and then Garaka goes to where Nadim lived. And so the smoke shop that he lives over is called Fire Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And so Garaka asks the store attendant, "Are you the Fire Master?" He's like, "Duh, what does the sign say?" And he just proceeds to freeze this dude into a million pieces.
He doesn't just freeze him, he shoots an ice spike through the back of his head.
Yeah. So this guy ain't dying nice.
No, well, he was dead when he got frozen, but
Still.
ice spike shattered him.
And so he goes to the brass room and he gets his horns, which is like the source of his power. And then I wrote down, the Frozen Empire begins.
I wrote that somewhere. Oh yeah, I wrote the same thing. Baraka gets his horns back and unleashes the Frozen Empire.
Do you like the effect for the Frozen Empire?
Elaborate.
So like the sequence. Let me say that. Do you like the sequence?
Oh yeah, I think it's very well done.
I think it's terrifying
Oh, absolutely.
because like everybody's at the beach, it's the middle of summer. All of a sudden, out in the distance, everybody just sees this gigantic cloud,
Gigantic storm, and it's like, hey, was this supposed to rain today? No.
and then like all the ocean gets like frozen, and it's like the wind comes in, and everybody's just running off the beach, and there's this ice spikes coming out of the beach or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember because I told you this. I remember seeing that because that was the intro for the first trailer
Right.
of the movie. I was like, dude, when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, we're going a little bit darker here. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was really well done. I think it looks good.
But I think the scope and scale of this one is really fun because you definitely feel like this could be the end of the world more so than like the Gozer attacks
Right.
because it feels a lot more isolated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels like this could really be the end of human life as we know it. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the entire city just becomes frozen. And then everybody's back at the firehouse, everybody's gearing up. And Phoebe asks Ray if it's possible to line the proton pack's accelerator with brass.
The only problem is all the brass in the firehouse was stripped in the 90s.
And so she cuts off a piece of the fire pole,
which is copper.
which is copper, and she grabs a couple of brass items or something, I think.
It's all copper.
Is it all copper?
But what she does is, with the proton pack, she melts the collider in this, or she dips the collider in this melted copper, thus energizing it, giving it the same effect as the brass.
Gotcha. So she does what Caden just did. But everybody suits up. Pete shows up. And I love the lines that he drops in the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He only has like 2 or 3 more lines. And they're all just like the snarkiest Peter Venkman things he could say.
Of course, it's Peter Venkman.
But so Janine is in uniform. And she has like a little hand blaster that we saw earlier in the movie. And he peeks around the door. He's like, Meldit's in uniform, looking sporty. And he had some bourbon hiding in the walls, and he just like punched a hole in it, and his bourbon was still there.
I think it was on the power box
Oh, was it?
because he punched it open and just in the little side there he pulls it out.
Yeah, fair enough. That sounds about right for Peter Venkman.
Mm-hmm.
But
When
everybody gets suited up. The possessor possesses the Ecto-1
of all things.
and starts chasing after the OGs.
This whole sequence is really good.
And then Lars is upstairs. And so there is this little egg
I called
looking.
it. What did I call it? Hold on. Hold on. I called it the uh little vomit potato. And it's adorable in the most disgusting way possible.
So it rolls. That's how it walks.
It's got legs, it's got arms.
But it chooses to roll for some unknown reason. But no, this thing just like opens its mouth and just projectile vomits
Everywhere.
slime everywhere. So Lars gets gooped. So he's pretty much down for the count for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The fire master had so he's been training.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucky and Trevor are trying to chase the possessor demon or whatever, because they were using like a trike and whatever, and it possessed the Ecto-1. There's the possessor does a whole bunch of stuff. It's hard to keep track in this part of the movie. Sorry.
The possessor demon possesses a trike at the very beginning of the snowstorm, in which he slams the trike into the front door of the firehouse. Then Garaka pulls the doors off the firehouse, allowing the possessor demon to possess the Ghostbusters sign, which falls down due to the wind. From there, the possessor demon goes to a filing cabinet, the fireman pole, and then to Ecto 1. Ecto 1 slams into the very back wall, avoiding all the OGs, which slams into a filing cabinet, which shoots papers all the way up. The possessor then grabs onto a piece of paper, turns it into a little paper airplane, flies it up to the third story, which is where Lucky, Trevor, and Nadim are at. Then the possessor goes into Lucky's proton pack. You may take it from there.
Are you okay?
No.
By the way, in movie that was about 15 minutes worth of content.
Summed up in about a minute and a half, maybe.
Pretty much.
Impressive.
Very impressive. I loved how you were handling that. Good job, bro. Yeah, the proton stream fires, and Gary pushes Trevor out of the way because it's aimed at Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it just stops. And we look, and the fire master, which is Nadim, is able to curve the beam outside
Out the window.
and able to avoid everybody. And he's like, dude, this is sick. I mean, it is.
It is.
But I do love how in the moment we're like, that's not really fire.
No. Like, yeah, it burns stuff, but
Like there must be like a heat element to some form of the proton stream. I can't be for sure, but he able to.
yeah.
But no, I love how you brought up that Gary was willing to die for Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he has gone full dad mode at this point. Nice.
But the proton pack is still firing, so Podcast, with the hammer he had from the beginning of the movie, slams into it as hard as he can several times.
And then the possessor possesses a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And so this pizza just starts moving off the table. And Caden, who saves the day?
Slimer kills the possessor.
By eating the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
We're just lucky that Slimer doesn't have a digestive system that we know
Yeah, that we know of.
of. I don't want to do that research. I really don't. Then we get Melody versus Penelope kind of in the basement.
Penelope?
Phoebe. Sorry.
I was gonna say, who's Penelope?
The secret character we've been waiting to reveal.
No.
But no, she's like, you don't have to do this. And she's like, I kind of do.
You kind of don't.
But no, Garaka destroys the containment unit and he becomes super powerful. And everybody blasts at Garaka because he's not. And I do want to say Peter's line here. So Peter, for some reason, is wearing sunglasses
Mm-hmm.
in a powerless firehouse. And so he because they don't have any power.
I thought they still had power at that point.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
But no, like he's wearing sunglasses, and so he turns, and you just see Garaka just in his sunglasses, which I love that shot, by the way. He just takes off his glasses. He's like, tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, and Garaka's horns are massive.
There's at least a 2 to 3 foot wingspan on each side.
I'd say about 4 to 5
On each horn?
on each horn. Yeah, because what Nadim's grandmother had, they weren't uncurled
That's
like his
true.
R's now.
That's true. But no, everybody's like, bro, you don't have to do this or whatever. And Peter's like, yeah, we tried being nice. Let's try this. So they all just shoot at him.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
And then Lucky's over the side. He's like, I told you, man. He freezes the streams. He freezes the streams. He was like, oh, man, we probably should have listened to you. Sorry about that. But somehow he breaks open the floor because that's what's as the containment system is busting open.
Mhm.
And he pushes everybody off to the side and traps them with spikes. And he's starting to freeze them slowly. And Phoebe shows up and she blasts him with the new proton pack.
And
It does some damage.
it stuns him,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of the normal like main orange,
Mm-hmm.
it's green.
I liked it.
I do too. It's a very vibrant green, but it still has
It's like teal almost.
it's got that very small orange wire that still wraps
Mm-hmm.
around the normal stream. And at times it looks like I want to say it's an unstable
It is incredibly unstable.
because you see it split off itself and start melting the proton wand itself.
Because in the back, you just see the sparks flying as the grind happens in the proton pack itself.
Mm-hmm.
But he overpowers her and she gets frozen. And then Nadim slowly makes his way down the fire pole in his full gear. He's like,
He was down the fire pole well before
oh, sorry, he did that right before the Ghostbusters get frozen.
yeah.
But he's like, bro, you mess with the wrong guy. And he tries to light a fire. And he used up all of his lighter fluid while he was training. And so then Nadim's like the only one left. And he's like, crap, what do I do? And so Melody lights her match and gives him fire. And he blasts Garaka. And it allows everybody to start melting.
Which, real quick, this is one of my other biggest gripes. Nadim, by all means, should have been frozen just like the others. There's nothing implying that he was out of distance or that Garaka was going to avoid him.
Plot armor.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Maybe the brass protects him from like the spectral ice or something.
From absolute zero, negative 456 degrees.
I don't know the atomicness of the Ghostbusters franchise.
The temperature I said didn't sound right, so I'm looking it up real quick.
But anywho, it causes Phoebe to melt, and so both of them are blasting him. And they podcast tries to use the drone trap. Oh,
Negative 459.67 degrees Fahrenheit.
is absolute zero.
Mm-hmm. So I was really close.
You were really close.
I was off by about 3
10
degrees.
Yeah, something like that. But drone trap gets destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Caden.
Oh no. Well, they used it once on one of the only other actual detailed ghosts, and then it just go
It farts.
they destroy it. It's just yeah, we don't want to use it anymore.
um, but they need a trap, and so Ray has the idea to turn the entire containment system into a gigantic trap.
Mm-hmm.
And so the OGs head down to the basement, and all four of them have to pull the lever down for it to go, and they trap Graka.
Which
Everybody's saved. Woo!
yeah.
Um, and in a touching moment, Melody starts to move on, and she dissipates like Egon did. And I don't know if it's because Phoebe has a red nose from being frozen, or if she's crying over her friend, or a bit of both.
I would say probably both.
Um, but everybody walks out. Everybody's like, "Yeah, the Ghostbusters saved the day! Woohoo!" And the mayor shows up. He's like, "Mass destruction! I finally have you guys." And Peter's like, "Pack, my friend, come on!" And him and the others are like swaying the crowd to make him think that he's a supporter, and all he can do is go with it because if he wants to get voted back in, he's like,
He's
"I
gonna
I love the Ghostbusters."
yeah. If you ever run for mayor in the Ghostbusters world, you have to support the Ghostbusters.
And so the sewer dragon breaks out again and is chasing Slimer. And so the guys are like, "All right, guys, load up." And Phoebe calls Gary dad. He's like, "Call me dad? Call me dad." And he just walks in, like, "Yeah." I love it.
And one of the other kind of minor points was that Trevor was always wanting to drive in the city.
And Callie throws him the keys. And
It,
so he gets to chase after the sewer dragon this time.
mm-hmm.
And the movie ends. And that is the last mainline Ghostbusters movie that we have up till this point.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie.
Absolutely.
Would I say it's my favorite? No. But we're about to name off which one's our favorite. Here at the Real Bros Ranking Show. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey.
No.
Sorry, that's probably Mario. That's too
Mm-hmm.
close to Mario. Sorry. I'm not trying to get copyrighted. Trying is a loose term there, but as we said, me and Caden have the same ranking for once. So we're going to name off each movie and we're going to give our reasons why it's the lowest. So, last place, we have Frozen Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it lowest for you?
It it's the lowest for me just because of the facts that we or not the facts, but the points that we had already made throughout this podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
It feels too much like they're trying to force Phoebe in a relationship with the ghost. Realistically, at the end battle, Nadim should have been frozen as well. There's just
It just the heart isn't really there.
mm-hmm. But
And oh,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Like one of the things everybody says, it feels like a live action episode of the animated series. That is not a detriment to it at all.
No.
That's what it's going to feel like when you start doing new adventures with the Ghostbusters.
Yeah. And
Um, but in the sense of that, I definitely feel like if they do keep making movies, it's going to get very, very repetitive.
mm-hmm.
And I think this is kind of the start of it. But since this is the first one of its kind, it's okay. But like, I feel like they keep going, it's going to get more and more just like this movie.
Well, eventually there's going to be a point where in universe Ghostbusters are a worldwide
Mm-hmm.
team, not just in New
Yeah.
York. And I think that would be a cool way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
But by no means is this movie a bad movie.
No, this is, like I said, the four of these movies shift in placement depending on when we watch them.
They're all extremely good. And I don't know about Logan, but me personally, I was struggling on the placement for every movie
Mm-hmm.
for since finishing them.
Yeah.
So it could have gone any way, but
All right. In third place, we have Ghostbusters 2.
yep.
This movie is a fantastic movie. It builds upon the first movie flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
It has the same heart, the same energy, the
The same
same
chemistry.
the same vibe, all of it. The story just doesn't hit as good as the first movie does.
Yeah, there you're definitely right on that and you can feel it,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, in my personal opinion, after 4, every movie is 10 out of 10. They just do better than the last one.
Mm-hmm. And I think it helps that 2 and Frozen Empire feel the same in regards of like they're facing a new threat
Mm-hmm.
and they have to investigate everything. That's why it's going to get repetitive because
Right.
everything is going to feel like either 2 or Frozen Empire with it not being Gozer.
Right.
So I think that's what kind of hinders it there too, or whatever. But yeah, still an amazing movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly, it was hard for me to choose between third and second place in this ranking for the movies. But in second place, we have to go with Afterlife.
Yep.
It shifts between second and third place depending on if we watch it recently or not. This movie is the most heartfelt, family oriented. This movie almost has a better story than the first movie
Oh, absolutely. I would say honestly it does have a better story.
because it hits all those emotions. It hits. We even cried on the last episode of the podcast talking about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that very often from us.
No.
Um, but like just in that should show you how much this movie means to us and what it does for us.
Oh, absolutely. But with that
In first place,
is the very first Ghostbusters movie.
there
And
is no topping.
absolutely not. Without this first movie,
There would not be hardly any good comedy horror movies in general.
I was going to say that. I was going to say without this first movie, Afterlife would not have as big of an effect on us as
Mm-mm.
it does. The second movie wouldn't feel as good because you don't know the characters or the chemistry.
This is one of those instances where it's comedy lightning in a bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and they give it an amazing story with the paranormal, with real science, and it's just such an iconic movie. It is like one of the movies of the 80s.
Oh, absolutely.
And you will never get another troupe like Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, or oh boy.
You're 3 for 3 right now.
I'm blanking right here and it's not good. Ernie Hudson. Ernie
There you
Hudson.
go. Is
Um
it bad that I knew that before you?
Probably. But like it's just such an amazing movie
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of a kind. The others they're sequels, yeah, but they none of them capture the spirit of this movie.
No.
Afterlife comes close,
Very close.
but it just doesn't have the it factor. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like one of the great legacy sequels we will ever get. Absolutely. But the OG, there's like I can't find a single flaw with the original Ghostbusters movie.
Mm-mm.
And that has been our Real Bros ranking, everybody. And I, of course, as normal on our ranking episode, I will put a poll down below and let us know what your favorite episode or your favorite Ghostbusters movies are. And comment if you like the 2016 one. If you want us to talk about it at some point. Maybe. But Caden, what is the next franchise we are teeing up?
The next franchise,
Is only 2 more movies.
yeah, so it's going to be a very quick one. The next franchise is the Venom spin-off series from the Sony motion pictures.
So we're just covering Venom 2 and Venom 3.
Mhm.
We're not doing Morbius,
Nope.
not doing Madam Web.
No, we're not doing the Spider-Verse spin-off, just the Venom spin-off.
Yeah. So next week we'll be covering Venom Let There Be Carnage, which I love that movie.
It's a very good movie.
But until then, I'm Logan Thomas,
I'm Caden Green.
and this has been the
The
Real
Real
Bros
Bros
Podcast.
Podcast.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.